Hello and welcome to another edition of Free Information. I am not Jack Vera, however, I am your host. Thank you so much for listening, for being there. I checked the latest stats, and there's folks from far-flung places, way out over the mountains, over the ocean, over the moon. That's an expression. I don't believe there's anybody at the ISS currently listening. Yeah, but we all have something to reach out for. Today we're discussing chapter 4 in the life of a dropout comic. Chapter 4, because we're going through the life, right? I had waking up in the middle of the night. I had actually waking up, walking the dog, breakfast. Did I do breakfast? Of a deadbeat comic, dropout deadbeat. But well, anyways, chapter 4, driving to work and being there. So if you don't know, this isn't my day job. This isn't even a job. I mean, it's something that I do, but I'm not making anything from it. Big surprise. Big surprise. So I still have to have a job, much like pretty much everyone out there, everyone, 99.99% of the population has a job, I think. Hey, even if you don't have it, if you're like, hey man, all I do is collect cans, man. Well, that's a job. That's your that okay now. Well, anyways, a lot of people have jobs, so I have a job. In order to get to my job, I have to commute because I do not work at home. I have to get it. Everyone else, you got any other commuters out there? Yes. Now the thing is, I have to drive across town to get there. But guess what? Outside my window, I see an office building. Outside of my dwelling, there is a building where office things take place. People go there to work, but I have to go across town. The first thing I did when I moved here is I went to that building. I was like, "Excuse me, do you have a job?" And they said no. That was the first thing that I did. They said no. So I drive across town to my thing. I've seen people there though. I've seen people there at the office, and guess what? They live in the town where I go to, where I drive across town. So I propose a trade. I went up to a guy, I was like, hey, you work here, but you live where I work. What if we just trade? You work at that job and I work at this job. He got in the car and he left. That was rude. He got in the car and left. So I I you know I'm thinking to reach out to more people. I'm gonna go back to my office. I'm gonna hang up a sign, post a sign. You work here, I work there. Let's switch. 'Cause I don't really want to move, but I will move the office. Because I mean, unless you got a really sweet pad, but then you probably wouldn't want to switch with me. So I've said this. I've said this before. I've said this before, not on stage, but just to people. Say, hey, wouldn't it be cool like if I was able to like switch, like and you work there, and the response I got, but that wouldn't be your dream job. That wouldn't be that's your argument against this sound logic that I have. Not only is it good for me, which I'm a person, but it's good for the environment, which we all live on the environment. So it's good for more than a person, it's for the planet. So I guess anyone that's not on board for this is anti-planet. I don't know if you just got a bunch of planets laying around. I don't. I don't have any of them. So it's a pretty good idea. I think we should all kind of look in for it. My dream job. Do you know what my dreams are? And you're assuming that this office job that I have is my dream. This is just to keep the lights on, just so I can buy socks. Because you ever try to repair a sock? You can't because it's all like stretchy and elasticy, and you put it on with a normal needle and thread, and guess what? That's not elasticy anymore. The sock is stiff. It's weird. It was more comfortable with the hole in it, except for when you have the hole like in like a toe sticking out. Then that kind of feels weird. Kind of was are these like toe socks now? Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, I think just my dream job is, I don't know, owning a jet, with a beluga whale or something, but the beluga's happy. It's not like SeaWorld. That's right. I just called you out, SeaWorld. Something like that. I mean, that's an actual dream. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that was my response. I just looked at them. I was like, what is your dream job? Is this you actually you dreamed about this as a kid? I don't I think most of us just do the job, just to like eat food. Um Work is hard to gauge. Oh yeah, what I want to talk about next. I mean, I get it though. Work is hard to gauge. It is hard to know. Is this a good job? Should I quit this job? Because, you might be like, they treat me horribly, yet they give me money. I mean, because that you can't sometimes because people are like, man, they treat me like a slave at that job, but they gave me money. It's like, does how much money? That's right. Is it enough money? Because other jobs like, man, that was a lot of fun. How much did you get paid? I was able to buy cereal. So then you got to reconsider that job. Um, I recently went through a town, and that town was the third largest producer of beef in the world. They said, they're like, yeah, we're the third largest producer of beef, Dodge City. So the phrase "get out of Dodge," I that might have referred to the cowboy times, but I think they were actually talking about the cows because it's a lot of that's where beef comes from, and it's cows, and they're an animal, and it's not just them, right? Humans eat other animals too, but if ever you talk to any people that produce that, they'll say, "Oh, we do this the most humane way. They're treated very humanely. We produce this poultry, this duck. We produce this pork the most humane way." Okay, okay. Let's just take a step back, humans. You have the word humanely there, and we're dealing with a bovine. Shouldn't we have asked them? It was like, hey, what's the most bovine way you want us to take care of you? In the end, that way we can eat your meat. I think they would be like, yeah, you've been treating us a very human way, and we aren't humans. They would probably say that, and then they would probably say we don't want to be eaten. Sorry if this one touched a nerve for some people. Were like, oh, this was explicit. This hurt my feelings. But that's what happens. I mean, I like chicken nuggets as much as the next guy. But the thing is, was that bovine treated humanely? And ever since I watched The Founder, I just couldn't eat at McDonald's the same way again. Thank you. Sorry, this got I'm not. This got pretty real. Got pretty real in this episode of Free Information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I am not Jack Vera, and that was a chapter. That was a chapter driving to work, bumper to bumper, getting across town, and yeah. Next episode. Wait, that was chapter 4. So what's next? Oh, eating. Yeah, the lunch hour. Lunch is good. Who doesn't like it? People that who doesn't like lunch? I mean, it's lunch.